And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Monarch, Who Will Reign. In this game, each player is playing a princess, a sister, and the queen is, I think, retiring or she's getting out, and we're looking forward to see who the next princess is going to be. Now, the cover of this game is a little dark. It looks like a very dark, foreboding game. It's really not. It's really quite a light game. And one of the things that brought this to my attention was this is one of the games that they're playing on the new tabletop season, which surprised me, not because of the game or any reason, it's just that it's not a very well-known game, and so it's kind of an obscure pick, so that was interesting. So certainly wanted to give this one a check. Let's see if it's any fun or not. In the beginning of the game, you're going to set up the board, which is essentially just these 9 tiles, which are farms or villages. There's actually more than 9 tiles, and the order of where they are does not matter. It's basically just how many villages are going to be out and how many farms are going to be on the table. Each farm provides food. Villages provide coins. Players are going to start with some coin and some food resources. You also have the cards, as the most of the game is going to take place around this deck of cards. There's an array of them up here. There's also some banners to the side. Now, on a player's turn, one time, and they can do this at any point during the turn, they can collect food. So you'll get 1 food for each simple farm. So I could say, okay, I'm going to collect 5 food. Or they could take gold. To take gold, though, they have to pay each village. So they can pay each village. So, for example, they'll pay 1 food for each village. So I could pay 4 food, and then I would get 4 gold. So you can do that once per turn, one of those 2 actions. You can also buy these cards up here at the top. Now, when you buy a card, you simply pay the cost at the top of the card. So, for example, this rhinoceros here costs 10 gold. That's what's listed up here. And when I buy this, I'll put it in front of me, and it's worth 7 points at the end of the game. Although it says here it's worth no crowns. Crowns are points. If in a court's in front of you, with another beast card. Sometimes they're variable points. This one here has a culture card. It costs 5 coins. The Dragon Phoenix gown, it's worth 1 crown point for each culture card in your court in front of you, and culture improvements on the board. Some cards, when you buy them, for example, this one here costs 3 gold. They are unwanted guests. An insistent peddler, you just put them in front of somebody else, another player, and that player is going to have -2. Some cards are improvements. This falconry range, I can buy this. It costs me 1 food, and then I place this on top of one of the simple farms, and now this is when anybody collects food, they're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 food. Same thing here. This one here costs food to put out this towering amphitheater. This will not only increase the amount of money, but it's a culture type, which you can see gives more points if you have a Dragon Phoenix gown. Now, when you buy one of these cards, it's going to be replaced with another card from the top of the pile. Sometimes you'll draw a card, which is a moon card. It's a golden moon. Each sister gains 3 gold. So each player would get 3 gold, and then you discard that card and you draw another one. And so the cards are of different types. They're different ability cards. Like this one here is an asp, 1 crown for each might card. So this is a might card and might improvement on the board. And then there's unwanted guests. Now, when one player has 7 cards in their court in front of them, the game is going to end and scoring is going to happen, although unwanted guests do not count towards that end. On your turn, if you meet the requirements for a banner, you can take it. So here, if I have 2 cards with different paths in my court, the paths are the types of cards, I can fly this banner. Once you take a banner, that's it. And this one here is worth 5 crowns. But also, if any of your court cards would be worth no crowns, they are instead worth their face value. So this keeps it, like for example, this rhinoceros here. Why it would be worth 0 if there's another beast card in court, the balance keeps it as 7, regardless of whether you have another beast card or not. The other ones are from the 4 different paths: the banner of might, wisdom, culture, and bounty. Each of them gives you a special ability, like whenever another sister harvests, you get 2 food. And at the end of the game, each of these is worth 1 point for each bounty card in your court and bounty improvement on the board. So when you improve the board, you're doing so to not only make these be better for you, but also to provide you when you harvest or when you tax the villages to get more golden food. As I said, when one player gets 7 cards in front of them, the game ends. Players will count all the points for their banners and or cards and lose points for any unwanted guests that they have. Whoever has the most points is the winner. unfortunately, guys, I'm just not a fan of Monarch, and there's quite a few reasons actually for that. The components for the game, the food and the money are okay. The artwork for me in this game was just okay at best. Like I said, it was dark, not like it just was like everything was a dark palette. It just didn't come across as light and fun, and the game really is light, like float away light. Some of the things, like the odd choicing for me. For example, these tiles in the middle of the table. By the way, the cards and the tiles are good quality, so I'll give them that. But just, it didn't seem to really matter at all. You put these out there, okay, so in this game we got 5 villages and we got 4 farms. And in this game we got 6 farms and 3 villages. That does change the game a bit. I mean, there's less money in the game, but does it really matter? And this communal thing board in the middle was just really weird. Like, ooh, I'm going to spend some of my money to put out a new village card out there, which helps me briefly and then helps every other player. Because, I made that, so now we get 3 coins when we tax that spot. That's great. But now every other player gets it too. Yes, I might want to do it because it's a culture type or it's might or something like that, and that gives me more points at the end of the game. But other than that, anytime you upgrade at something, you help everybody else out. I almost wish there was like one of these in front of each player and you're working on your own and building it up. That would have seemed more strategic about what cards you picked. And then other than that, you're going to take cards that are helpful to you, and you're playing those on one at guessing other people, and it's just basically a take that game. Good cards for me, bad cards for you. What can I afford? There's only a few cards usually you can afford on a turn, so I'll buy those. Sure, I could pay 3 gold to wipe something, but that's usually not worth it, because if I do so, I've just decreased the amount of money I have, and money is the harder resource to get in this game, because food is free. You have to pay food to get money. And you'll find that the first turns for pretty much everybody is, I'll take more food so that I can pay to get more money. It's not bad, right? The game it's not a slog to play through. It's pretty light. Hey, I'll buy some cards, do this, do this. Oh, who won? But when you win this game, you don't feel like you've really done anything. There's not a whole lot of ha 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 moments in it either, right? If it's light, there's like, ooh, look at the cards I just played. The theme is fine. You know, the whole idea of the princesses wanting to become queen, and you're following different paths of might and culture. Okay, that kind of works, but it doesn't ever really come out in the gameplay itself. And the moon cards are extremely random, and sometimes you just get hit by them. Like, ooh, it's my turn. Oh, all players have to lose some food. What? I'm next. And I was going to spend food on something, so now I just kind of have to skip this turn, essentially. Some people liked it, when I was testing it, but everyone agreed that it was extremely light. And while I don't mind light games, I think there's certainly a place for them. I didn't feel like there was enough choices to give me meaningful options. And at the same time, there wasn't a woohoo type fun in this game. It just felt very mediocre, which unfortunately these days doesn't ever make me want to go back and play the game again. Dice Tower Judgment, no real strategy or choices in this game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!